Hello. Hello.
Now you see me.
And now I can see you and I can hear you. Yes.
Great.
So,
Yeah, no, that's nice.
I'm
No,
David.
yeah. So, yeah, nice to meet you, David. I've been trying to schedule this class for a long time with you. I looked at your profile and I see that you speak a lot of languages. You even know a little bit about Bitcoin. That's nice.
Yes.
That's
So
nice.
I guess you are also interested in languages and Bitcoin.
Yeah, sure I do. I think the thing that I was most interested in your profile was that you said that you're living in Bulgaria, like in the mountains far away. So why did you move on to Bulgaria? What, like, did you move on like for business? Did you move on with your family? How was that?
Well, I'm single with no kids, so I live here alone, and I
Yeah.
came here alone. But I've moved around quite a bit. So I studied languages at university, and I studied in different countries in Europe. Then I became a teacher, and I ended up leaving the UK and going to work in Kazakhstan. So I spent some time
Wow.
there, and then the Brexit referendum happened, and I
Mm-hmm.
revisited actually what was an old idea. I'd had this idea about coming to Bulgaria for quite a long time, and hadn't acted on it. I tried to once, but I missed my flight. I didn't. So, and then the Brexit referendum happened, and I thought, okay, I have to go and see if Bulgaria is a place that I feel comfortable. I have to see what property is like. I had a fixed amount of money. I just quit my job actually to take a year off. So I had a fixed amount of money to put into a property. Um,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
so I came here and liked it and
Well,
bought a
that's
place.
nice. It's very different, because you don't hear a lot about Bulgaria. It sounds like just a mysterious country in the middle of Europe, in the middle of nowhere. So yeah, I know that I know some people that goes to Georgia, but it would be for fiscal reasons. So they have a lot of how to say wealth. They're very wealth, and they're trying to seek countries that how would you say that do the incentives for the people to bring their rent for the country so they get tax free.
Yes, I have heard that Georgia is good in that respect. I have to say Georgia is one of my favourite countries. I think,
Really.
yeah, a great place to spend some time, as well as the tax advantages. Here in Bulgaria, I think there are some people that come here for similar reasons.
Yeah.
Um, for example, income tax here is a flat rate of 10%. For
Mm-hmm.
freelancers, it's 7.5%. Also, when it comes to crypto, it's probably one of the more favorable tax regimes in.
Yeah, I heard about that.
So again, it's just a flat rate of 10%. So capital gains tax. So Bitcoin or any crypto, in fact, is treated as a possession.
Yeah.
And if you buy it and the price goes up, then you just pay a tax on the profit.
Oh,
Although Germany, in fact, is better, I think, for
really?
crypto taxes. I think if you hold crypto for a certain number of years in Germany, then it's tax free. You don't have to pay any tax on any gains
Mm-hmm.
that you might make. Um, yeah, are you looking for somewhere, Nicholas, to move to?
No, yeah, I was searching up because here in Brazil we have a very strong culture to moving on to other countries, trying to escape from the government imposition here of taxes. Because the government nowadays is like pushing a little bit, I would say. And I know some people that do agency traveling to Uruguay and Paraguay as well. I know that for Uruguay, you get I think it's, if I'm not mistaken, you get tax-free for 10 years. Okay. Then after that time, you start paying taxes like a normal citizen. But after that, you already have the passport and the citizenship. So and also it's a long time. And for Paraguay, I know that they have a politic that they do not tax any type of international income. So if you have an income, for example, like a tutor on Cambly, I presume that you might receive in dollars. So you have that rent. If you have that rent there in Paraguay, you get tax free from that. You pay like 0%. So yeah. Um, but about me, I would say that probably in a few years to come, I'll try to seek some way out here in Brazil. And also because I would love to travel around the world like you did, meet new countries. That would be really nice.
Well, I would absolutely recommend spending some time traveling and studying or working in different places, or whatever you want to do. So, what do you do at the
Yeah.
moment, Nicholas?
Yeah, so I have a very strong technology background. I finished college in analysis and system developing, and then I started working for a consulting company with Oracle systems, like an ERP called Oracle EPM, that is more focused for enterprise solutions, like strategic planning and all that stuff. I worked there for like a year and a half, and then I got bored, and I moved on to work for another company in Canada, and that is basically a franchisor that manages a lot of different types of franchisees, since from uh, private touring to home care of elderly people to window cleaning, digital marketing, all the types of franchisees that you can imagine. And the nice thing about this that you have a lot of projects, a lot of different projects for each franchisee. The only bad aspect that I would say is that people, I don't know if it's something about working for another company in another country apart from here in Brazil, or it's something uh, from the culture, because the people are not very friendly, I would say. You know, they're there's a word for that. Yeah, they're a little bit passive aggressive, you know.
Right.
So it's a little bit hard to deal with people, mainly people from the UK. I'm sorry, man.
Yeah. I mean, I'm yeah, perfectly aware of how people from the UK can be, especially it has to be said, the English. I'm from
Yeah.
Wales, where we tend to be a little bit friendlier,
No,
but
but they're from London, so that's okay to you.
I mean, London is not a nice place to be, really. Not a nice place to live for the majority of people. If you've got lots of money, then I'm sure London's great, but otherwise,
Yeah.
it's a tough place to live. So it doesn't surprise me that people are
Hard.
showing some unpleasant characteristics.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So you have this point. I don't know if it's about it's from the culture. It's a normal thing that happens to everyone who talks to them, and they're a little bit harsh, or they have a little bit of perjury against people who work from another countries, that are not native, I would
Yeah,
say, because they're just. I think apart from me, there's only three Brazilian persons. The one is from Espírito Santo, another girl is from Paraná, and then you have another girl that is also that entered with me that is also here from São Paulo. And from what I've heard, all they say that they've been to the same situation. So I think perhaps it's something that happens that is quite common.
yeah, that wouldn't surprise me. That wouldn't surprise me. So I mean, so when
I
you're
see.
so when you're having these interactions with people in London, like, are they customers, or is it like client to client? Like, what's
Yeah,
the
no,
business?
they're clients. So as we are a franchisor, and we're working for the franchisee, you know. So for example, we have this one called Tutor Doctor that is very strong in the UK as well, and we're working with them like perhaps uh, uh, a new location enter one of our franchisees, and we have to onboard them. Yeah, so we have to do all the process of creating their information into our CRM, putting their data into it, and guiding them, teaching them how to use the system completely, so they can feel comfortable when leading with the clients, their real clients, you know.
Right.
So yeah, that's basically it about
Okay.
this franchisee.
So the word that's springing to mind to describe some of these people, perhaps, Nicholas, is entitled. Perhaps, is it a bit of a
Yeah,
is it a bit of an attitude that you're getting from these people?
yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's
Well,
right.
yeah. Having
Yeah.
worked as a school teacher in the UK, I can say I also face
Yeah,
that sort of attitude, and not just from the students, but also from the parents a lot of the time. So yeah, there's a bit of a
yeah,
edge to people, perhaps, in the UK sometimes.
yeah. And apart from that, for example, it's a strange situation, but I'm gonna tell you. For example, my boss, it's an Ecuadorian guy that lives in Toronto, Canada, and he works for this company, you know. And like I said, he's like a little bit of passive aggressive. So uh, when I meet this guy for the first time, I remember saying that I wasn't the right choice, I wasn't the right fit, but he was going to bet on me, you know. He was going to bet on certain skills that I had, even though that I made so for just the context, I made an assessment to trace some traits of personality, some skills, some basic thing. It's called um, a caliper assessment, you know. And then he told me that as for some traits I didn't have enough skill for that. um, but apart from that, I had other skills that could be helpful, and he was betting on me. And then we have a weekly feedback, like every Tuesday we had a feedback about what's going on in the past week, if what I'm doing is right or wrong, you know. And basically almost every time he's telling me that I wasn't the right choice, and I had need to put on the work if I'm going to get fired, you know. It's this kind of is this type of behavior, you know. It's a little strange, but
Yeah. I mean,
you got it.
it's completely wrong, is what it is, and it shouldn't be happening. You know, he made his decision. He should not. He
Yeah.
should not be putting that sort of pressure and a feeling of, well, however it's making you feel. I don't want to put words into your mouth, but
No, yeah.
it's completely wrong.
No, yeah. So, for example, I don't feel like I'm a little bit stress tolerant. I can work under those types of situations. I have no problem with that. I worked in those situations before in the other company I worked for. But it's strange. It is
Yeah,
still strange. You know, it's I don't know. I would say that for this company, it's not that this type of company that you want to work for a long time and have a career with. It's just you work there, you get your money, and then you go after something that is more flexible. I would say, you know. So
yeah.
yeah.
So, how long until you escape, Nicholas? What's your
Yeah,
plan?
perhaps this month. Perhaps this month. I don't want us to extend this furthermore. You know, it's
Yeah,
because there were weeks that I worked every day, like at least till midnight, you know. So it's not a type of work that you are comfortable doing, that you feel great doing. You know, you just want to get your money and go away. So
Yeah.
yeah, but that's okay.
And then especially if you have, on top of that, these meetings and these comments and the passive aggressive strangeness and
Yeah. Uh, I would say that at least one positive point was practicing my English, you know, because on my previous company they were paying for the Cambly classes, you know. Then they canceled the plan, and I continued paying because I really thought that it improved a lot my English, you know, because before I started doing the classes, you know, I knew that I had the comprehension of spoken English. I know that I could comprehend English almost perfectly, like even when it comes to watching TV shows, movies without subtitles, that was no problem for me. But when it comes to speaking with other people, I didn't have the confidence, you know, to build more complex phrases, more complex situations, talk about different subjects, and just helped me a lot, you know. So,
yeah.
and I think it was a vital point for, you know, working for a company in Canada, you know, because of course they need someone that speaks English, and you know, here in Brazil, it's a funny thing because the people that can really speak English, like in a very advanced level, and I would say, for example, for a fluent level, I would say that the most important point is to comprehend perfectly. You know, not just speak very well, because for someone that is a native person, sure, the person will notice that if I'm native or not, because of my accent, perhaps because of the way that I structure some phrases, but that's okay, you know. I would say that the most important point is to comprehend well, you know. And the percentage of people that can really understand English in that level in here in Brazil, I would say it's less than 1%, you know. So
Mhm.
um, it's a great opportunity to study not only English but also Spanish to work for bigger companies because they're asking a lot, you know.
So you've thrown Spanish into the mix there as well, Nicholas. So how's your Spanish compared to your English? Because I'm listening to your
Oh,
English.
my Spanish is very poor. My
Okay.
Spanish
So
is very poor. I'm trying to learn the basics of Spanish because, for example, I speak Portuguese like a native, of course, and I can understand Spanish very well because of the similarity of the Portuguese and the Spanish language. That's okay. But when it comes to speak, you know I don't have, I still don't have the vocabulary. I still don't have uh, the the capacity of structuring more complex phrases about more complex situations. So I'm still learning. I would say that at least in the basic level, you know, I want at least to get into an intermediate level to, because I know there are some companies and there are a lot of people here in Brazil that also speak Spanish that is from other countries, you know, like from Bolivia, Ecuador, Colombia, Argentina. So yeah.
well, I think improving your Spanish sounds like a great strategy. I mean, the more languages, well, I'm tempted to say the more languages you know. However, that's my personal bias. That's because interest, my languages. Sorry, let me put that on silent. Languages have just
Yeah.
always interested me from a young age.
Yeah,
There we
me
go.
too.
Sorry.
No, it's okay.
So yeah, so go for it, and get your Spanish to where it needs to be. It sounds to me like your English is great. You speak very confidently, you speak very fluently. Your vocabulary is good. The way that you're structuring things, I haven't noticed a problem with. So obviously, the practice that you've been having through Cambly and through the job has, it's paying
Okay.
off. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
So,
great.
so what is? I mean, you mentioned travel and future plans and going to different places. Are you at this point sort of considering that sort of thing in a really open general sense, or do you have some specific ideas or some specific places that you'd like to investigate? Or
Well, I really can't say that. I would say that, for example, I would love to meet Australia first, because I have a friend there that was a very dear friend of mine in the high school, and after some time, he had to move on to Brisbane, on Australia. And he tells me that the culture of Brazil and Brisbane is very similar in some ways, And it is a funny thing for me, because it sounds absurd, But I searched it up for other people that is living on Brisbane, and it is true. They say the same thing, that the culture, it's very similar to the Brazilian culture in some ways. So I would say I would go to Brisbane, try to practice my English daily, like and the real practice. Try to meet some new people, meet some new things, see my old friend again. But I wouldn't say I would stay there for long, because um, I would like to go to other places, perhaps now that I have a personal bias against Toronto, I don't know. But yeah, any other places that you can speak freely English, that would be great,
well, the world is at the same time both a big place and a small place, and
Yeah.
you're young, so you have. I mean, it's a cliche, but the world really is your oyster if you can position yourself in such a way that you can find opportunities.
Yeah.
And it's interesting, that comparison you've just made with Brisbane versus Brazil, because I hadn't ever thought of that before. But I haven't been to Brisbane, I haven't been to Australia or Brazil, but I can imagine,
Hmm.
yeah, it's like laid back, like beach vibes. So
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
can imagine that there is that comparison. So that sounds like a good place to start. But
Yeah, I would say that's why I would like to at least meet there,
yeah, yeah, spend some time.
Um, yeah,
And
but apart from that, I'll try to like level up my English, not sorry, my Spanish, because here in Brazil, I know there's a lot of people. I went to Floripa. There's a state in Santa Catarina, that is just the island, and it's very famous because on the final season of the year, like on the months of November, December, January, just on the New Year's Eve, a lot of people come there for tourism, and mainly a lot of people from the Latin America countries. So I remember that I saw a lot of Argentinians, a lot of Chilean people from Chile, what else? Colombia as well. So a lot of people on the beaches, like with the flag, perhaps on the car, on the with them on the beach. And I try to speak just a little bit, and it was hard, even when trying to speak Spanish with Argentinians, because the accent's a little bit different. I remember one of the main aspects. I remember I got used to the pronounce the double L like a DJ, and they don't speak like that. They speak like I think it's like X and O, something like that, and they speak just so quick, so rapid. It's you just can't understand, like comprehend. Then it's very difficult. It's funny.
do you know, when I was 19 years old, Nicholas, I went to study abroad for the first time, and my first placement was in Spain, in Alicante, and the university arranged accommodation, and I turned up at this place, and I thought, well, where am I? What's going on? Turned up, and somebody was calling down from a balcony, and I sort of went up into this building, and it was all quite different to what I'd been used to up to that point.
Yeah,
I'd always lived in a house, or I was in student halls. It wasn't so common to live in apartments in the UK at that time. And
yeah.
I met my two flatmates, and there was a French guy who spoke Spanish with a really heavy French accent.
Yeah.
And then there was an Argentinian guy, and I was like, oh, I can't understand either.
Yeah.
So it took a little bit of time. And at that point, my Spanish was good in terms of reading and writing, but I'd only been studying Spanish for about a year and a half when I started university, and so I had
Mm-hmm.
no experience listening and speaking. So I just felt so stupid. I felt so stupid, and it took a while to
Yeah.
make
Yeah.
progress. But yeah, Argentinian Spanish, tricky.
Tricky. Yeah. Yeah.
Tricky.
It is tricky. Yeah. So, for example, the way that I've been practicing, I have some old books of just some basic practice, some basic lessons, like read some text and answer some questions about it, the text, and some others that you just have to complete the sentence or translate the sentence, the entire sentence in Portuguese to Spanish. There are some old books of my mother, and I've just been practicing, just been reading and doing the exercise for a little bit before just really getting to it, like trying to speak to a person, because I still don't have, I would say that I can have the confidence because that's okay, but still not that confidence to speak comfortably,
Yep.
about different types of situations. Do you have like a personal way, like to learn new languages in a way that you like the most?
Do you know, I think for me, with different languages, I've had different experiences. And for me, well, I started learning Welsh when I was when I
Yeah.
was 11, and I went to a Welsh speaking school and had that sort of immersive experience, which at the age of 11, 12 was perfect. And after a year, I could speak the language. So
Wow.
that experience involved having, because my teachers made me have like a test every week, a vocab test with quite long lists of verbs and phrases and vocabulary.
Mm-hmm.
French and Spanish, I found sort of came a bit more naturally, particularly French, and then Spanish. Sort of because of the French, it sort of felt quite familiar, and it didn't take me long to try to find a way. It's certainly with the reading and the writing, but like I told you, when I got there, the only way was to go out to speak to people, like to go out to bars and stuff, and just
Yeah.
spend time socializing, and that really helped. Um, I won't bore you with all of the languages that I've tried to study, but my most recent experience, everything's going to fall down, is my Bulgarian. So
Bulgarian.
I
Wow.
got this book, this Teach Yourself series. I don't know if you've seen these before. These are quite good. I don't know if they do them from other language combinations or if it's just from English. And it's quite a thick book. These go from 0 to B2 in like 20 units.
Wow, that's a nice thing.
Yeah, and so they sort of have a lot of dialogue in them, stuff like that. But I still haven't finished this, and I moved into this house nearly 9 years ago. So, that
Wow.
hasn't been the most successful way. So actually, what I'm doing now is I can understand a fair amount, but I really struggle to talk. I really just struggle to get my mouth around the words. So I have a subscription to an audiobook service, and I've started with Harry Potter.
Oh,
So I'm listening to the story in English,
yeah.
then I'm listening to the same section in Bulgarian. And I did that with the first Harry Potter book, but now I'm on the second one. I'm thinking, okay, I need to add in reading to this as well. So my strategy now is listen for, 5-10 minutes, however long, in English, then read the Bulgarian, because I am quite visual. I do need to see the words. That I remember them much more clearly if I can see how they're written.
Yeah.
And then listen again. And while I'm reading it out loud to myself as well, to practice like pronouncing the words. Now, obviously, my Bulgarian level is way lower than your English level, but maybe it's more similar to your Spanish level. So
Yeah, perhaps.
I mean, I would say that try a range of different things. But I think input is really important. Whether so listening, for example, if you're having trouble speaking, you need to listen. You need to listen. But as I say, for me personally, I also need to see. But now, if I read something in Bulgarian and I read it out loud to myself, having listened to like 9 hours of Harry Potter in Bulgarian already, I don't sound quite so English to myself. I'm not saying I sound Bulgarian. Wow. I can feel that the rhythm is better. I can feel that I'm getting my tongue in the right position behind my teeth or whatever it might. Do you know what I mean? It just helps. So I would say input, listening and reading as much as you can. And as you know from Cambly, practice talking. But you do need to get to a certain level first, don't you? You do need to get to a certain level first.
Yeah, that is true. I remember when I started studying English by myself. I remember I did some classes on a private school here in Brazil, and then I had to leave because of some money problems, And I told myself, okay, so I cannot just stay put, I need to practice by myself. Teach myself how to learn English, and I thought at that time the best way to do it was just listen, consuming a lot of content. So I was watching movies daily. Even at that time I was listening with the subtitles on, just to get the right how could I say the right practice at the words, at each word to understand how they sound, how must I sound, how must I pronounce them in order to don't have a really hard accent. And it worked for a long time, But when I try to to speak with someone, I didn't have the I would say the practice, the practice itself, because I was comprehending a lot, but I didn't have the practice.
Yeah.
And that's when I started the Cambly classes, and just helped a lot. So I think that's a great idea, because for the Spanish thing, I was just reading, and perhaps I could try switching to just listening. Perhaps that might be more helpful for me. I don't know, but I sure can try it. I tried it once with English. In my work again with Spanish, and it's
absolutely
a nice thing.
Yeah, give it a go and see how you feel about it. And obviously with these strategies, this already from your experience with English, I'm sure. But it just takes some time. It takes some time, and sometimes I meet people on Cambly, particularly from countries like China or Japan or South Korea, and their idea of studying is very traditional. They ask me, "Oh, you speak languages, what can I do?" And I say, "You need to listen, you need to listen, you need to listen, you need to read." And they're like, "Well, I work 12 hours a day, I don't really have time to read." Well, I mean, okay.
Yeah.
And they're like, "To give me something to study." I'm like, "Well, you're missing the point, really. It's not just about learning the lists and learning things by rote, which is what they want me to tell them, because that's how they're used to learning.
That's the easy way.
And it's helpful. It's helpful for certain things, but as you just pointed out, when you're doing some sort of activity in a language like reading, or if you're listening to something, your brain is working in a completely different way to when you have to say something. You need that practice. Your mouth needs to be familiar with the shape.
Yeah.
And you also, of course, need that spontaneity. You need that interchange, because sometimes I can think about the Bulgarian that I want to use in a situation, and I walk into the situation and I use my Bulgarian and it all goes well, and then and I say, "I'm sorry, I don't understand a word." You just said this in really beautiful Bulgarian. I'm like, "Well, I was prepared, and now I don't know." So and then of course you feel like a failure, which happens a lot when you're learning a language. yeah, try and see how it goes with the listening with Spanish.
I'll try it. And for the context, how is it like in Bulgaria? Are people like friendly? They're like receptive when you try to speak their language. They're like they incentive you, or they just like are like French people that presume that you speak French fluently, you know, perfectly.
Yes, well, you're right about the French. You're right about the French. I have been in France ordering a pizza, and they're like, I don't. I'm a French teacher. I've got a degree in French. It's an Italian word. I'm saying pizza. I know that you can understand me. Just give me the pizza, or the bread, or whatever. No, Bulgarians are more. Well, it depends on the individual, but yeah, I mean, most people in this area don't speak English really. So there's
Wow.
occasionally I meet somebody who does, but often they don't. So I always try straight away in Bulgarian, and then if somebody has English, maybe it's just a few words, maybe they speak English pretty well, but generally, no, they don't. Um, so
Wow.
um, so yeah, they're pretty receptive, you know. And I find, like dealing with bureaucracy, for example, like I'm getting registered as a freelance teacher, for example, in Bulgaria, getting
Mm-hmm.
registered with authorities, going to an accountant, all of this.
Mm.
It's all fairly straightforward, really.
Oh,
But but it was done in Bulgarian, you know. So yeah, people are pretty friendly, helpful,
that's
um,
nice.
fairly efficient, which I mean, I was expecting it to be like worse than France. It's not, you know, it's pretty straightforward. Sometimes
Uh,
things take a while, but you know, it's not anything
yeah,
too.
yeah. I think depend on the person, but in general, they would be like a little bit more reserved, or not.
Yes. So what I found with people in Kazakhstan and people in Bulgaria, and I don't know if this is a post-communist thing. I don't know if this is um, like if the Kazakhs are like this because of the Russian influence, and the Bulgarians are like this because it's a Slavic thing. But quite often you find that maybe people sort of look a bit miserable at the beginning. You know, you sort of walk into a situation and you think, oh, I've just ruined this person's day by needing their
Wow,
help, you know. But
wow,
actually,
yeah.
but that's not the case. It's just actually, to be honest, I think that was more with Russian speakers than with Bulgarians. Bulgarians are a bit more laid back and relaxed, but Russian speakers were just sort
Yeah,
of
they look a little bit rough, right?
yeah. It's just I mean, if you're smiling for no reason, oh hello, hello, how are you? You know, they think that you're an idiot. They think you know you've got an empty
Yeah,
head. So which which was sort of, I mean, it's interesting to have those cultural experiences and sort of then place your own culture on a scale. Like the over friendly Americans, when you walk into a diner and they, you know, are like all over you because they want a nice tip and they're grinning, like, you know, they can't believe that you're here. They're so happy to see you. And then, you know, Kazakhstan, where it's like, oh God, you want to order a drink? Oh my God, no, I hate my life. So
yeah,
it's like, oh, you know, the UK sort of somewhere in the middle. Um, but yeah,
yeah.
people here are nice. People here generally are nice. I've been made to feel welcome. I'm quite ashamed that my Bulgarian is not better than it is, but you know, I
Yeah,
manage.
but I mean, it's a hard language to learn. You know, it's not something like as easy as English to learn. So yeah,
No, no. And my limited knowledge of Russian helped. That I sort of picked up in Kazakhstan. But yeah, I haven't made the required effort. Is really what it boils down to. You're right. It's not the easiest language, but I mean, I have experience of languages. I should by now be able to speak this better. So I go through bursts of sort of renewed vigor, and then I sort of get lazy again. So at the moment, I'm trying to maintain this listening pattern, and it's
yeah,
helping. It's helping. Uh, but it's a slow
yeah.
process sometimes for
Uh,
languages.
No, yeah, I believe it's normal, you know. I believe that you perhaps don't have the enough fluency because you might don't need it as well, you know. So I would say that at least probably for your level, it's enough. It's sufficient for the situation that you're in.
Well, it needs to get better. It needs to get better. But you know, I speak English on Cambly all day, or you know, I have other private students as well. So I'm, you know,
Yeah.
teaching French, I'm teaching Spanish, and so it's I don't have the opportunity to speak Bulgarian in the way that I did, for example, when I went to a Welsh-speaking school, and I was just immersed in the language all day. So, but it's easy to
Yeah.
make excuses. Easy
Yeah,
to
yeah, I know it is. I've been delaying a lot to learn more about Spanish. You know, I had the opportunity, I had the time to go deep into it, and I went like, but I'm not using this shit, you know,
That's it.
because
That's it.
the only opportunities that I had to speak another language was fully in English, you know. Just like few situations that I really had a native person that was speaking Spanish that I could speak a little and was not that deep, you know. It wasn't a conversation that I had at least 30 minutes to talk to the person. It was like very quick situations. So in my head it was like, well, it's not worth it. Let's just let it for later, you know. But
Yeah.
yeah.
And it takes time because you've got to embed all of that sort of basic and intermediate vocabulary. You've really got to use it a certain number of times. So it's sort of it's like building a house, isn't it? You've got to get those bricks cemented in your brain
Yeah.
before you can start going up towards the roof. You know, you've just got to get that. And it's difficult because I mean, this is the level I'm at with Bulgarian. You know, you feel like, oh, I'm not quite ready to sit and have an hour-long conversation in this
Mm-hmm.
language. But if you don't, you're not going to push forwards. You know, so yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
use
No,
it or
yeah.
lose it.
Yeah. So let's talk about Bitcoin, man.
Right.
What do you think
So
about it?
where are you up to with Bitcoin? What's your Bitcoin story?
No, yeah, I discovered Bitcoin like I believe in May 2024 when it was around 55, 56K. So yeah, and this is a nice thing. I've met a lot of people here in Brazil. Here in Brazil, the Bitcoin bubble, I would say, it's very strong. Like the people who produce content, the people that already have a good knowledge on it, that know the basis of it, the principles of the Bitcoin, it is really strong. You know, even that the like 99% of the people don't know yet, but the people who knows at least have been to two or three cycles of the halving cycles. You know, so it's people that really have a good knowledge that are really old on the Bitcoin. And you?
So, well, I mean, could I just ask, are you invested in Bitcoin, or is it like,
Yeah,
is it something you've
100%.
been
I'm a
holding for a
maxi,
while?
100%.
Mm.
First of all, that any other investment type of investments here in Brazil, like stock options, it's really poor, really, really poor. You don't have good options here. You don't have you can have a really good rentability when it comes to those kind of stock options. Even like some certain types of funds, it's not that good. So you can just go all in Bitcoin and have no problem with that, you know.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm very excited about Bitcoin because Bitcoin is something that I'm coming back to because I had a bit of a disaster. I had a bit of a Bitcoin disaster. So,
Really?
it was all my fault. So, I first really started getting interested in Bitcoin in 2018. Prior to that, I'd sort of heard about it and I'd seen, oh, it's going to go up, it's going to go up. And I was thinking, who are you? Who is this person on the internet saying this? Like, what are they? I just didn't get it. I just thought this sounds ridiculous. And anyway, I came back to 2018 and pretty quickly thought, okay, I need to get involved. The price was dropping at that time. So I started buying when it was about $12,000 and then it was coming down and I was buying. So I spent 2018 basically buying and I got in at an average cost price of about $7,000. Which then I
very good
sort
price.
Of kept.
Yeah.
And the landscape started to change and these different companies started to pop up. There was BlockFi in the United States, which was giving interest. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to give this a go. And so I decided to go all in and put my Bitcoin with them. And they were giving me some income. And then they dropped their rates and I shifted to a different company. And I was with them for a year or two and I'd stopped work. I was just living on the interest for 2 years. And then the next bear market came around, as expected. And that's when I started working on Cambly. I was like, okay, let's just do something during the bear market. And then some of these companies started to go under and I started to get worried. So I took my money back, which took me a while because they had withdrawal limits, my Bitcoin back. But then a few months later, one day, and I don't know what happened, but one day, for no reason, this wasn't something I was even thinking about, but one day I thought, you know what, I'm going to send it all back because actually I'd probably get like a couple of €100 a month interest, and that I could just do with a couple of hundred extra euros a month. And there was the voice in my head was saying, David, what are you doing? A couple of €100 a month is not worth putting your Bitcoin. What are you thinking? Before I could even think about it, I'd done it. A week later, the company went bankrupt and I lost. So then we were into a legal process, and about a month ago, I finally got some of my money back, which was more than I paid when in the first place. But
in Bitcoin, it's I see.
I should have had. So
I see.
So
now,
I
can imagine.
Yeah. So it's a bit of a catastrophe. A good lesson learned. Best not to dwell on it. Best to move forwards. So for me, that means putting that money back into Bitcoin. And for a few years, I couldn't even look at the charts because it was all too painful. So I've been trying to refamiliarize myself with the market and where things are at. Obviously, thinking in cycles. I had a vague idea, but how long is that going to last for? Is it breaking down? Is it not breaking down? Is it? So I'm just trying to shift this money into Bitcoin. So at the moment, every week I'm just putting a little bit in, and
that's great.
And then we'll see.
But you're putting in your own custody, like your personal wallet, like a cold wallet that you're saving it, or you're like just putting in the custody of a private company.
At the moment, I'm using Revolut, which is a registered bank here. So, but it's just the easiest place to buy Bitcoin. But I will need to shift it as it starts to build up again. I used to have a ledger.
Ledger is nice, but it's not the best option.
It's quite old.
Yeah, there's a lot of scams using the ledger, and even the Trezor one. That's the other one. I've just shown my dad, because he's getting excited about Bitcoin as I'm talking to him, and he's seeing the price going up. And I showed him a video yesterday about a very complex scam that some guys pretend to pass as the ledger company, and they told it that an old model has had a problem with the hardware, and then they sent a new hardware wallet to this guy and told him to put his seeds on it so he could just use the ledger with more security. and he lost all this Bitcoin at this time. He put his seed phrases, and he lost, I think, like 4 or 5 Bitcoins. It's just a disaster, you know.
Yeah.
But my setup now it's like really secure because I'm using the tables with Electrum, you know. I think from the other ones that you can do by yourself without spending any cent at all, it's the most secure one by far, by far.
Okay, this is something that I need to arrange, because I mean I still get ledger scam calls, you know.
Yeah,
I
that's the problem.
haven't used it for years because they had a data breach years ago, and I was furious and
Yeah.
wrote to them and said delete all my information under GDPR and everything. But yeah, you know, I do sometimes get a, oh, your wallet, blah blah blah. You need to do this, and I'm like, oh yes, okay, goodbye.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
what do you think? Because, like I said, I'm trying to shift this lump sum into Bitcoin, and part of me is like, just do it. Don't wait. It's Bitcoin. It goes up. Just do it. Just do it. And then another part of me is like, no, just do it a bit at a time, or maybe wait. Maybe wait until next year.
The best strategy instead of the lump sum is doing the DCA, you know, the dollar cost average. So you have an X quantity of money. You divide that by perhaps 4 weeks at a month. You divide this quantity by 4, and then you buy that quantity of every week, you know.
Yeah.
So you can lower down your average price. That's the best strategy by far. If you take the same strategy like doing the lump sum, even trading, when in comparison to the DCA, the dollar cost average, in the long term, the DCA beats all of the other strategies in the long term, like every one of them. So I do this. I receive my salary. I don't just do the lump sum. I divide in 4 parts. I pay my bills, of course. Then the rest of it, I divide in 4 parts and buy every week, you know. I even told my dad, you know, he had some money that because he sold the car he had, and he had some money to invest, and he went to me and said like, oh, okay, so I want to buy Bitcoin. Can I buy it all, you know? And so I said, no way. Divide it into some parts because at least for now you have a really high volatility, you know. So the best thing is just buying weekly, you know.
Well, this is what I decided in the end. After going through all sorts of different scenarios in my head, I thought, right, let's take this lump sum that I've got, and let's just divide it by 100, and then, given my expectations for where we are in the market and what might happen over the coming months, I thought, okay, well, I can put like 1% a week into Bitcoin, and then as time goes on, then it will become clear what's happening. And if it shoots up in the next few months, which might still happen, perhaps
it will
lower next year. And I don't think that now is a good point to go all in the expectation.
I would say it's the best time because we're just a year after the halving cycle. You know, the halving cycle happened last year, and historically, every year after the halving cycle on September, that's the bottom of the Bitcoin price in the 3 following months. That is October, November, December. Historically, always been the highest price of Bitcoin. Historically, all the times, not one time in all of the cycles failed this. And if you get compares the same distance of the bottom of the Bitcoin price with the highest price, that is the top, compares to the last cycle, it's literally in percentage the same size. It's like 71.96%. So, I mean, perhaps the technical analysis that you can make might not work every time, but sure do help like in 99% of the time. I follow some guys. I've already made a lot of money with that. I already lost a lot of money with that. It's like the both terms, but in most times, like it does work if you have a really good base of the knowledge of the cycles, and you can apply that without emotion, you know, like doing the right analysis and putting in the effort. It really favors you.
See, what I don't want to do is I don't want to trade. I just want to buy and I want to hold. You know, so
That's perfect.
given this upcoming potential top that we have, you know, it's like it's where is it going to be? You know, that's the thing, because let's say it goes to $150,000. Well, the likelihood that in 2026 the price is going to be lower than where
then we will have the bear market. Yeah, then we can drop at least for 20K, 60K.
Yeah, I'd rather sort of hold off for a lower price. But of course, that could be complete rubbish. It could be going to $250,000, and then maybe the cycles as we understood them are over. So that's why I've gone with this 1% a week, because at the moment I'm like, I just don't. I want to get involved, but I don't want to put everything all in right now. Yeah, I'm a little bit older than I was before. I don't have, you know.
Yeah, I see. But that's okay, man. A lot of people don't really like to trade, don't have the time to do it. I like doing, but it's risky, you know. I already lost more money than I earned it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's nice, and now I'm just building up what I've lost to the potential top of the cycle. So my strategy now is already build up my position. I want to get out perhaps at 160, 170, and then just wait for the bear market, you know, and just to rebuy it.
Yeah, I am wary, obviously, after my previous experience. I don't want to make any decisions which I'm going to regret, because, you know, I lost 3.5 Bitcoin, and that was pretty painful. So, you know, but still, I can move forward. I do have some money to play with. Also, trading for me would have tax implications. So if I were to trade, it would double my tax rate. So I don't want to.
Oh, you have some options that you can. There's a platform called Quant Fury that is a very nice one. I think it's located on the Bahamas, so it doesn't report nothing to any type of tax receipt, nothing like that. And also this platform is very nice because you don't pay taxes for trading, you know, for doing the leverage strategies that you can do. So it is very nice.
I think my residence here would mean that I would be liable for tax. You know, I don't.
But they don't report. But they don't report any info at all. For example, here in Brazil, if I was doing leverage on any type of market here in Brazil, I would have to declare this to the government, you know. And so this platform, as they are located in Bahamas, I think somewhere near those islands, you know. And and they don't report taxes, you know.
Okay.
So that's a good thing.
That's something to look into, because the EU regulations which are about to come in mean that every single crypto transaction will have to be reported to the tax authorities, every single one. And I'm assuming that just applies to any companies that deal with an EU resident, you know. So something to look into, another rabbit hole to
yeah, that's a deep rabbit hole. That is true.
But yes, Bitcoin, good old Bitcoin. It's all very exciting. Just need to make decisions.
Well, thank you for your time, Dave. It was a very nice class here.
Yes, I enjoyed it. I hope to see you again, Nicholas. Take care.
Thank you. See ya.